What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. We hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that you are having as merry of a Christmas week as you possibly can. It is Wednesday, December 23rd, 2020. Christmas is 2 days from now. The Dallas Cowboys playing, 4 days from now? Something like that. And it is Wednesday, which means it is time for our Cowboys Midweek Report, streaming live on the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss one of our wonderful episodes that we do. We do live streams every Wednesday. The Cowboys Midweek Report, as mentioned. We also live stream after every Cowboys game, a live post-game show. We also have film reviews, game recaps, all sorts of fun stuff that we do throughout the week. So I appreciate those of you that join us here at Blogging the Boys. And the Dallas Cowboys, they don't play on Christmas Day. The Minnesota Vikings and New Orleans Saints do, but the Christmas spirit is around. I thought it would be fun to have the Cowboys Midweek Report have a bit of a Christmas flair. So voila, let's enjoy the Christmas season. So the Dallas Cowboys are 5-9. We all know that. They are hosting the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. The Philadelphia Eagles are 4-9-1. This game actually is not that good, but it's probably going to be incredible because every Cowboys-Eagles game at AT&T Stadium where this game is just about comes down to the wire. That's sort of the way that these things tend to go. Think all the way back. Let's go way back. Let's go back to 2012. 2012, the Cowboys played the Eagles at home on a Sunday night game. Mo Claiborne had a fumble that he returned for a touchdown in that game. It was a lot of fun. It was December, just like this one. 2013, the Cowboys played the Eagles at home. Season finale, win and in game in terms of the NFC East. They lost to Nick Foles. Gavin Escobar had the amazing flip of a touchdown. That was a lot of fun. 2014, the Cowboys played the Eagles on Thanksgiving Day, and they lost to Mark Sanchez. 2015, the Cowboys hosted DeMarco Murray's Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday Night Football and lost in a walk-off touchdown in overtime. That was a painful pill to swallow. 2016, the first Dak Prescott-Carson Wentz showdown ended in overtime as well, with Dak Prescott hitting Jason Witten for the game-winning touchdown. 2017 was a rout that the Eagles put on the Cowboys incidentally on the night that Jerry Jones was celebrated for his induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. At the time, it was the worst loss in the history of AT&T Stadium, a loss margin that has since been matched when the Cowboys lost to the Cleveland Browns earlier this year. 2018, the Cowboys beat the Eagles in overtime. Again, the Amari Cooper walk-off touchdown. That was a lot of fun. And then last year, the Cowboys really handed it to the Eagles on October 20th. That was the first game. I'll never forget that my family and I had my little dog. So shout out to him. Shout out to Bear. It was his, Bear did it. But anyway, so it's always something when the Cowboys host the Eagles, and this week is surely going to be no different. Christopher Lopez joins us, says, "What's up, RJ? SoCal here. Hope all is well in Southern California, Christopher. Hope the weather is nice. Not too frightful. Hopefully it's pleasant for you as the Christmas season rolls on through." But this game could have been rendered moot, honestly, before it even started. The Dallas Cowboys, if they want to win the NFC East, need the Washington football team to lose. Let's take a look at the Cowboys' remaining schedule because they have the Eagles on Sunday, and then they have the New York Giants next week. If the Cowboys want to win the NFC East, they got to win these two. That part is non-negotiable. There's no way that the Dallas Cowboys can lose either of these games and still win the NFC East. They have to win both of these two games remaining on their schedule, but any win from the Washington football team eliminates the Dallas Cowboys from NFC East title contention, which brings us to our NFC East schedule. As far as what is remaining, there are 5 games left that involve NFC East teams. Obviously, 3 of them involve games with common NFC East teams. The Dallas Cowboys will host the Philadelphia Eagles this week. The New York Giants are at the Baltimore Ravens, and the Washington football team will play host to the Carolina Panthers. That's the game that is important because the Cowboys need the Washington football team to lose out. If the Cowboys are going to be the team that gets some hats, some t-shirts, that ultimately celebrates an NFC East crown, they have to beat the Eagles, they have to beat the Giants, and they need the Carolina Panthers to beat the Washington football team this week, and the Philadelphia Eagles, who they have to beat themselves, to beat the Washington football team next week. Now, I think the tallest task here might be the Philadelphia Eagles beating the Washington football team. I actually really am starting to think that the Panthers are going to beat Washington. I know I've been saying for weeks here that this is going to be the Ron Rivera Bowl, that the Washington football team has done a great job kind of rallying around Ron Rivera all season long. There's no question about that. I think he's well in contention for Coach of the Year, but there's a lot going on with Washington right now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, quarterback Dwayne Haskins, who played for Washington last week, as Alex Smith is dealing with a calf injury. Not the best week for Dwayne Haskins, to say the least. I would have a hard time seeing Dwayne Haskins play for Washington this week. He has been fined by the team for violating COVID-19 protocols. Obviously, we are living in very serious times, and Dwayne Haskins, he didn't take the times too seriously, is I think the most polite way to put it. There is a mess going on, needless to say, with the Washington football team. The Carolina Panthers have an extra day, as they played last Saturday night at Lambeau Field when they lost to the Green Bay Packers. And I thought they showed some pluck, those Carolina Panthers. So it's very possible that the Cowboys get some help from Carolina this week. And as mentioned, it was almost going to be a situation here where, say Washington wins, because it is very possible that Washington could win. And if they do, well, like I said, the Cowboys' NFC East title hopes are kaput. And so in order to prevent that, this Washington-Carolina game was originally scheduled to take place at noon on Sunday. The Cowboys and Eagles won't play until the afternoon window, so the Washington football team could have won their game and knocked the Cowboys out of this, which would have made that game meaningless. The NFL said, not so fast. We don't want that to happen to America's team. So what did the NFL do? The NFL moved that Washington-Carolina game later on in the day. So if you've got two TVs, get them ready, because we're going to be having to watch both of these games, rooting for the Cowboys, rooting for the Panthers, both teams with the silver helmets, and making sure that we get the dubs that we need. Hopefully you get the dubs that you need, like I said, between now and then, as it is Christmas time. Speaking of dubs, speaking of things, speaking of gifts, you often see in the NFL different players, namely quarterbacks, getting gifts for their teammates, for their offensive linemen, for their wide receivers, whatever the case may be. It seems like that is the case when it comes to Dak Prescott. No, he has not been playing for some time, but he is still the guy, the man, the quarterback, the leader, the unquestioned leader of the Dallas Cowboys. And Dak Prescott posted some stuff on his Instagram story, and it looks like he got some gifts. So here is Dak.
Yes, sir. Merry Christmas. Boom. Big segues. Yes, sir. Shout out. Big shout out.
So it looks like Dak Prescott got Segways, I guess, like Segway scooters for his teammates, maybe. He was just kind of starting to stock the locker room. Who knows? But that's all of the clues that that Santa Claus, Santa Dak, whatever you want to call him, left. Pretty cool gift. I don't know what the retail value is of these Segway scooters, but I can't imagine it's cheap. And so maybe if you're Dak Prescott, you factor that into your contract negotiations. But still, really cool to see. This is always, like I said, fun. I believe one year Ezekiel Elliott gave the offensive linemen some like big old ATVs. So very cool indeed to see Dak Prescott spreading the love with his teammates. So let's talk about something that is a little bit uncomfortable and frankly a little bit terrifying. If you have not seen Boise State, which is, one of the more fun college football programs in the world, Boise State is in need of a new head coach. Why are they in need of a new head coach? Well, their head coach is gone. And so if Boise State's in need of a new head coach, the Dallas Cowboys, they obviously have a lot of ties to Boise State. Lots of their players have run through the blue turf out over there, and namely their offensive coordinator. That's right, Kellen Moore is being linked to the head coach opening at Boise State University. The great Gil Brandt, Pro Football Hall of Famer Gil Brandt, had a tweet on Wednesday that should terrify you if you're a Cowboys fan. Gil Brandt's tweet on Twitter at Gil_Brandt. The Boise State job is one of the best in America. Great facilities, supportive administration, can easily recruit the West Coast. Great place to raise a family. It doesn't have to be a stepping stone job, but it has landed many coaches much bigger gigs. Kellen Moore would be an excellent choice. Whoa, Gil Brandt, chill out. Don't be telling anybody that Kellen Moore would be a great fit at Boise State, because we want him to stay right where he is. We don't want Kellen Moore to leave. I know there are some people who think that Kellen Moore hasn't done that great of a job as the Cowboys offensive coordinator this season. You're wrong. Kellen Moore has been awesome. And by awesome, I don't mean like putting up 50 points a game. No, this hasn't been the season of 40 burgers that a lot of people wanted, but Kellen Moore has made this offense work at times. And Kellen Moore is still very young, still learning a lot, and knows this offense better than anybody else does, obviously. And so while we certainly want the best for Kellen Moore, we obviously want to see him grow. We want to see him rise in the coaching ranks and the coaching circles. We don't want to have to say goodbye. Not right now. It's way too soon. I don't know. Christopher Lopez says this is the perfect opportunity. Everybody saves face. This really, if I'm being frank, if I'm being honest, this is the perfect opportunity for Kellen Moore. It is an incredible first head coaching job in the world of college football, especially for Kellen Moore, who is a Boise State legend. He's arguably the best player in the history of that program. And so for him to return, this guy who everybody always said was going to be a head coach, and if you haven't seen, Kellen Moore's got some great local commercials in the Boise area. It would be cool, honestly. It would be a lot of fun if Kellen Moore went back to Boise State, but we would obviously be upset as Cowboys fans because we don't want to see him go. Kellen Moore is an underrated offensive coordinator, and let's think about this. All right, let's kind of unpack this. If Kellen Moore did leave, because we're already imagining a situation, a very likely situation, I think, in the estimation of all of our minds, where Mike Nolan, the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator, is going to be gone in 2021, right? By the way, 2021 is so much to say. Like, that's a lot of variables. 2021. That's 6 variables. Or not variables, syllables, not variables. 6 syllables. That's a lot to say. It's a lot of mouthful talking about the year, but whatever. Anyway, we expect Mike Nolan to be gone in 21. I'm going to start shortening it. Okay, so you got to fill a defensive coordinator role. No idea what that's going to be. What if Kellen Moore's gone? Now, not only do you have to fill a defensive coordinator role, you have to fill an offensive coordinator role. Talking to David Howman, one of our great writers at bloggingtheboys.com, actually wrote about this story over at BTB. He had a suggestion that I thought was very interesting. Joe Philbin is the Dallas Cowboys offensive line coach at the moment and is also kind of the Dwight Schrute, the Cowboys assistant to the head coach, whatever jokes you want to make. By the way, isn't The Office leaving Netflix soon? Just prepare for those tweets. Like, oh, God, The Office left Netflix, whatever. I think it's going to Peacock. Whatever. There's so many streaming platforms, whatever. Anyway, so Joe Philbin has been Mike McCarthy's offensive coordinator before with the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, somebody that Coach McCarthy knows well. Joe Philbin was the offensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers in 2011 when they were awesome. They went 15-1. Aaron Rodgers won an MVP. They lost in the divisional round of the eventual Super Bowl champion New York Giants. Joe Philbin got a head coaching gig out of that, became the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, obviously bounced around between then and now, and followed Mike McCarthy to the Cowboys. So David Howman, again, one of our writers at bloggingtheboys.com, suggested this, that maybe Joe Philbin would get the promotion to be the team's offensive coordinator. Maybe he would be the total offensive coordinator. Maybe he would just fill the role. Maybe Mike McCarthy would call plays. There's a lot of ways that could shake out. And look, I don't think it's time to panic on Mike McCarthy. I don't think that's fair. Obviously, we can talk forever about how this season has not afforded him any favors and how there have been a number of obstacles that he has had to overcome, a number of challenges, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think we all agree with that. We all agree that it's fair to give Mike McCarthy, at the very least, a full season with Dak Prescott before we properly judge him as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. But if Mike McCarthy became the play caller of the Dallas Cowboys, I'm not necessarily afraid of this idea, but you are then all in. I mean, you are completely, totally, all the way all in on Mike McCarthy as not only the head coach of your team, but kind of the central figure and central mind of your team. Because right now, the Cowboys offense has been having success as of late. Are they scoring at will? Are they setting any records? No, but they are having some levels of success that should be respected and should be applauded. If you take Kellen Moore away, he is his own mind, he's his own thinker, he's his own person. Now you are totally all the way, as mentioned, Mike McCarthy'd out. That could be a good thing. If Mike McCarthy's vision takes hold with everybody playing an entire season, that could obviously be a terrible thing if Mike McCarthy doesn't have the success that we all want him to have with Dak Prescott, Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins, and all the fun bunch back together. So that is a really sort of all-in move if the Cowboys decide to go in that direction. Now, obviously, they could go a number of other directions. They could bring in an outside person to be the team's offensive coordinator. They could promote somebody else. I mean, there are a number of ways that this thing could ultimately shake out, but that all starts, the first domino, if Kellen Moore ultimately leaves, whether it's for the Boise State job or something else. Kellen Moore, let's be honest here, when he was, having the success that he did last year as the Cowboys offensive coordinator, there were people that were talking like, is Kellen Moore going to get a head coaching offer, etc. And that made some sense in terms of the talk and the discussion, but he just didn't have enough experience. Kellen Moore now has 2 years being an NFL offensive coordinator. That is definitely enough to merit consideration to be a head coach, whether at the collegiate level or get a different gig elsewhere in the NFL. Christopher Lopez says Boise State is not going to wait until April. They are going to want a decision by January, so we will know sooner than later. Kellen will have to make a decision right away if he stays or not. I agree with this. And ultimately, that's a good thing, right? I mean, if Kellen's going to leave, get it over with. Rip the Band-Aid off. Nobody wants to sit around. Nobody wants to wait until, April or whatever the case may be, because that job is open. And the world of college football is moving. It's not moving in the right direction because they left Texas A&M out of the playoff, but I digress. The point here is that Kellen Moore is very valuable to the Dallas Cowboys, and I do think it's going to be difficult for the team to convince him to stay, because I do think that Kellen Moore is going to have a number of opportunities while you or your friends or your family, whoever you're having Zoom conferences with this week to celebrate the holiday, may be saying, man, Kellen Moore sucks. The Cowboys offense is terrible. Tell them they're wrong. Tell them that Kellen Moore is underrated, but he's not underrated in the minds of these decision makers and people that are going to be offering these positions. And what's more is there's all sorts of pub now about Kellen Moore's name. Let's put this tweet back up there. Kellen Moore, again, is getting the type of love that is typically associated with moves that ultimately happen. Gil Brandt is one of the most connected people in the world of college and obviously the NFL football. And so for him to be pushing this means that there is not just legitimate smoke, that there is like legitimate, what's the word for the flicker of a flame? Like, you know how on Survivor when they have the fire making challenge and they get the little thing and it's like, and they start putting the husk and everything, like that's where we're at with Kellen Moore. I would, if I had to bet right now, I would honestly wager that Kellen Moore is not the Cowboys offensive coordinator in 2021. I will personally be bummed if that is the case. I don't know that you necessarily will be, but I think it should be, because I think Kellen Moore is awesome, and I think he's been a really, really, really welcome person, not just for the Cowboys offense, but for the development of Dak Prescott. And as long as Dak Prescott's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, I want Kellen Moore to be the team's offensive coordinator. I originally poo-pooed the move a few years ago when the Cowboys promoted him from being the team's offensive coordinator. I thought it was ridiculous that he had gone from being the backup quarterback to Dak Prescott just 2 years prior to all of a sudden having the keys of the offense. But I was proven wrong. Kellen Moore has proven to be a valuable asset. If he goes somewhere else, we'll of course wish him the best. We'll of course root him on, but we will definitely miss him. But you should make sure that you don't miss a single thing. And how do you do that? You subscribe right here to the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. You can watch us live every Wednesday night on the Cowboys Midweek Report. You can watch us live after every Cowboys game on our official post-game show. You can watch all of our film reviews, game breakdowns, discussions, all sorts of fun times. We also post our podcasts up here if you want to watch them instead of listening to them. Make sure, by the way, to subscribe to the Blogging the Boys Podcast Network. We are available on all major podcast platforms, Apple devices, Spotify, etc., etc. Tomorrow's episode of my show, The Ochoa, is a conversation between myself and Brandon Lee Gouton, who is the me of SB Nation's Philadelphia Eagles site, Bleeding Green Nation. He and I talk Cowboys, talk Eagles, our thoughts on both teams, etc. It's a conversation that I think you'll enjoy, and an insightful one in terms of both the Cowboys and the team that they're playing on Sunday, who they are definitely going to beat. I've got the Cowboys winning. I think that they hand the Eagles their 10th loss of the season, and I do think the Carolina Panthers win, which I think makes for a really fun and a really stressful Week 17 that we'll, of course, talk about all the time at bloggingtheboys.com, here, there, and everywhere else in between. So, do me a favor. Have the merriest Christmas of all time. I'm talking lights, cookies, gifts, presents, the whole shebang. Have the merriest Christmas of all time. And have the best day ever. I hope we are so grateful. I know this Cowboys season has not been what any of us would have wanted, but I speak for everybody at Blogging the Boys in saying that we are so grateful, so eternally grateful to every single one of you who choose to make Blogging the Boys part of your Dallas Cowboys experience. We all love this team. We all root for this team like crazy. We are all obsessed with this team. We all want to see this team win. And while this season has been frustrating, it is always just the coolest thing that we get to share it with one another. And so we appreciate you inviting us into your lives, and we certainly want you as a part of ours to talk about this team and how to make them better and experience the highs, experience the lows, and experience everything in between. So have the best day ever. Have the merriest Christmas ever. You know why? Because you deserve it. We'll see you next time. We love you all. Merry Christmas from Blogging the Boys.
Blogging the Boys.